The exposure sheet makes working with elements pretty easy because you can use this to drag stuff right into the timeline. You can also rearrange how the elements are going to be viewed in the exposure sheet as well. Now let's talk about some of the different types of elements that you can use in the exposure sheet. Well, first of all, we have this icon right here which tells you that you can create a new drawing by clicking this button right here. And when you do that, what you should do is go to your drawing view and then draw something new, for example, a cloud or whatever you want to draw. And then you can right click on the name of the drawing element and rename that to whatever you want to. And then that will rename the column as well as the elements associated with it. Likewise, I can always get rid of this by right-clicking and choosing to delete this element. And I'll go back to my camera view. I can also bring in an image element if I so desire by clicking this button right here. And just in case you don't know what these buttons will do, just put your mouse and let it hover just for a few seconds until a little box appears, which should be appearing any moment now. There we go, image, and we have our sound one here, and we have our media, we have our thumbnails, and we have the toggle static light table, and we also have our toggle element list, which appears over here. You might not be able to see that little dot right there, but I can click and I can drag that to open that up. And we'll talk more about that guy later on. So let me go ahead and close that. And if you have a shortened view like I do, because I'm working on a smaller resolution, you can show your scene list as well as show the contextual menu from this toolbar. So let's talk about some more of these elements here. Well, a drawing element is one that you draw yourself within Toom Studio. This one here is the image where you'll import something into Toom Studio. So if I click this guy here, I can then bring in an image file. So I can right click in this cell here and I can choose to import an image from a file and bring that right on into my application. I can do the same thing by bringing in an audio sound or a media element. Another thing I can do with the exposure sheet is bring artwork right from within the exposure sheet into the animation. Let's say, for example, I want to bring in some more clouds. So I can go ahead and click on a couple of frames. I hold down the Shift key, and I can bring in 10 frames of clouds. Click, and then drag that right into my timeline. And I brought that right back into the timeline. I can then animate that or whatever I want to do. So you can bring in elements that way as well. So the exposure sheet helps you to bring not only new artwork into the exposure and into your scene, but you can bring stuff from the exposure sheet right into your timeline. And it's a very handy way of working.